Gate Guardian Archetype. Version 2. Elements of thunder, water, and wind. Suijin, Sangha, Kazejin, begin. Meld your powers in eternal light. Show these fools your unstoppable might. He is pain beyond description. He'll mark the graves with your inscription. Gate Guardian. This monster and the 3 monsters used for its summon would first be released by Bandai as part of the 1998 Yu-Gi-Oh! Bandai OCG promotional cards collection. The lore for the Bandai cards states that Gate Guardian is the combined guardian that protects the gates of Para and Docks. For the 3 Guardians, it states, the cards of Thunder, Water, and Wind unite into the Gate Guardian. Interestingly, the special rule that these monsters used to possess was that when a Gate Guardian is on the field alongside the 3 Guardians, you can make the attack of all other monsters 0 for 3 turns. In fact, what was cool about the Bandai versions is something that would eventually become kind of true and what was true in the anime, which is that when the 3 Gate Guardians are on the field, they are treated as one monster together. And more specifically, the ultimate boss monster, new form of this monster, it's as if it is 3 monsters in one. Now, when Gate Guardian was released in Japan, it was given out as a promotional card, but what was kind of funny is that you couldn't get this monster out. The Sangha, Suijin, and Kazejin, they didn't exist yet. You had Gate Guardian, just no way to summon it. Internationally, the cards debuted in the 2004 pack Metal Raiders, alongside the 3 materials it needs for its summon. These were Sangha of the Thunder, Kazejin, and Suijin. All 3 of these monsters shared the same level and effect, which was during damage calculation, during your opponent's turn, if this card is being attacked. Quick effect, you can target the attacking monster, make that target's attack 0 during damage calculation only. However, this effect can only be used once while it is face up on the field. It would take 9 years, but they'd eventually get a reprint in the 2013 pack Legendary Collection Joey's World. However, their value would be shown as they'd go from these super and ultra rare cards all the way down to commons. That begs the question, why would they get such a downgrade in rarity? These are such iconic, old school, powerful attack and level monsters. Why would they get a downgrade? It's really simple, really. They weren't good. Gate Guardian is a combination monster. The first ever level 11 monster to be released, and the most powerful main deck warrior monster in all of existence currently. With all of that in mind, you would think it would have an extremely powerful effect. However, you'd be wrong. Gate Guardian has no effect, except that the only way to summon it is by tributing Sangha, Kazejin, and Suijin. This essentially means this card has the exact same summoning conditions as an Egyptian god card, except it's even harder as you need 3 specific monsters, and the 3 specific monsters are also level 7s, meaning each of those needs 2 tributes to be summoned. In total, Gate Guardian's summon is most likely going to cost you 9 cards. And for what exactly? A monster with a decently high yet awkward attack stat of 3,750. The reason for that number, by the way, is because it's half the combined attack of all the monsters used to make it up. The same also applies for its defense, but I mean, that's all you get. In fact, as we will see a little bit later, all of the fused forms of the Gate Guardian monsters, they all have the stats of their 2 monsters that made them up cut in half. So whatever 2 monsters they were made from, their attack is half of that, and their defense is half of that. Pretty cool. Gate Guardian first appeared during the Duelist Kingdom arc of the anime. It was wielded by Para and Docks, a tag team duo that tried to prevent Yugi and Joey from entering Pegasus's castle. The duel took some unexpected turns, as it was played as a tag duel, and when the monster Labyrinth Wall was summoned, the field morphed into a labyrinth. I have a whole video on this, I won't get too much into it now. However, when these two started playing these monsters, in the anime, Kazejin, Suijin, and Sangha had to be set on the field first, and couldn't be summoned unless all 3 were on the field together. When they were set, they took the form of sealed coffins. When they got all 3 out, they combined them all together to summon Gate Guardian. Gate Guardian in the anime was a combination monster. It had 3 sets of attack points for each of its sections. This meant it could attack 3 times, applying the attack of one of the materials for each attack. However, that also meant negatively each of those individual sections could be attacked and could be destroyed if you wanted to weaken the monster. To counter this, however, each section has its own unique effect that could be used once per turn. Suijin could negate the attack of a monster whose original attack was lower than its once per turn. Kazejin made Gate Guardian able to attack anywhere in the Labyrinth. And Sanga made it possible for Gate Guardian to perform combo attacks, merging 2 or more of the monster's attacks together into one single ultimate blast. It's worth noting as well that due to the Duelist Kingdom rules, the elemental attacks of these monsters could result in some pretty wacky and unique environmental hazards. For example, Suijin, when it attacked, it flooded the field. Yugi abused this fact by using a lightning-based attack to travel along the drenched floor. A fact that, oddly, Para and Dox didn't also abuse, as they too had an electrically powered monster. You feel like they would have done it after Yugi did it. Fast forward 20 years, and out of absolutely nowhere in the 2023 pack, Maze of Memories, we would only go and get a bunch of brand new cards to make the Gate Guardians into a full-fledged archetype. And not only that, some iconic labyrinthian monsters that Para and Dox used, and some of their spells and traps as well, they would be retrained into Of the Labyrinth cards. For example, you remember the fusion monster Labyrinth Tank? Well, this card would be retrained into Labyrinth Heavy Tank. Its effect was you can normal summon this card without tributing. Cannot attack the turn it is normal summoned. During your main phase, you can place one of your Sanga, Kazejin, or Suijin that is banished or in your hand or deck face up in your spell and trap zone as a continuous spell. Then, if you control a Labyrinth Wall card, you can destroy one monster your opponent controls. I like to imagine this effect is literally just Labyrinth Tank coming down the maze looking for a monster, and as soon as it finds it, gets a dead end, just smushes it and destroys it, if you want to imagine it that way anyway.
I'll also lay the Labyrinth Tank in attack mode and move it forward 7 spaces.
The next retrained monster was Shadow Ghoul and Labyrinth Wall. Labyrinth Wall is kind of a part of every single one of the cards in the archetype now, so this is kind of just Shadow Ghoul, but still. These two monsters would be retrained into Shadow Ghoul of the Labyrinth. Its effect was you can discard this card, add one Labyrinth Wall card from your deck to your hand. At the start of the damage step, if your opponent's monster battles while you control a Labyrinth Wall card, you can banish this card from your graveyard, destroy that opponent's monster. What's cool is you can use this monster's effect to actually search for its fused form. Its fused form is now a field spell variant of the fused form. The card I'm talking about is Wall Shadow.
I am merging Shadow Ghoul into the Labyrinth Wall itself by means of polymerization.
What the?
I always found this monster really spooky. It used to go in the walls and just go down and like find people and things. It was pretty sick. But its effect is monsters cannot attack the turn they are summoned, except those whose original level is 5 or higher. Once per turn during your main phase, you can place one of your Sanga, Kazejin, or Suijin that is banished or in your hand or deck face up in your spell and trap zone as a continuous spell. At the start of your opponent's battle phase, you can target one monster your opponent controls with less than 1600 attack, destroy it. Now, we're not done with cards that Para and Dox use. They also used a card called Riryoku, and this card got transformed into Riryoku Guardian. If your life points are lower than your opponent's, target one monster you control with Gate Guardian in its original name, halve your opponent's life points, then that monster gains attack equal to your opponent's life points. You can banish this card from your graveyard, add one Sanga, Kazejin, or Suijin that is banished or in your deck to your hand. This effect of Riryoku Guardian is the exact same effect that it had in the anime.
Ryoku's legendary power allows me to take half of my opponent's life points and add them to one of my own creature's attack points.
Oh, fair.
Being able to halve your opponent's attack and just shove it onto your Gate Guardian is kind of a cool ability, and it had a little bit extra added on as well. In fact, speaking of, another card that was retrained from a monster, Jirai Gumo. This spidery creature in the anime was actually a trap monster.
Wait! Joey, look out! Too late! He activated my trap!
What?
Your Axe Raider is vanquished!
And you lose 400 life points.
So what did they do really cleverly? They turned it into a trap monster, prey of the Jirai Gumo. Special summon this card as a normal monster to your main monster zone in its same column. Then you can destroy one monster your opponent controls in this card's column. You can banish this card from your graveyard, add one of your Sanger of the Thunder, Kazejin, or Suijin that is banished or in your deck to your hand. You see what they did here? In the anime, you literally put the Jirai Gumo face down anywhere on the maze, and then if the player made a monster walk over it, it'd snare them and destroy them. So what have they done here? Very cleverly, the same thing. It's just with the monster zone columns instead. So I like that. I love it when they do like what the anime did, even though it wasn't like a game mechanic sort of thing, but they still do it. I don't know, it's just fun. Now, unfortunately, Sanger, Suijin, and Kazejin, they never really got any upgraded forms. However, they did get some fused forms, brand new ones as well, and these are pretty cool because they could be made via contact fusion. When Sanger and Kazejin are both on the field, they can be melded together into Gate Guardian of Thunder and Wind. Its effect is it must be special summoned by banishing the above cards you control. Keep in mind it says you control. This can be from the Spun and Trap zone as well, so you know those effects that we just heard where they're being placed face up in the Spun and Trap zone? Cheesing them out. Very clever. During your main phase, you can add one spell or trap from your deck to your hand that mentions Sanger, Kazejin, and Suijin. You can only use this effect of Gate Guardian of Thunder and Wind once per turn. Once per turn, weirdly enough, this is the odd one out in the archetype because all of these monsters are being treated as if they are the monsters they are made up of. So really, this card should have the effect to use its effect twice. We'll see why a little bit later, but this is the only one that only has it once per turn. So it must be for balance reasons, but you'll see what I mean. If this face-up special summon card in its owner's control leaves the field because of an opponent's card, you can special summon one of your banished, Sanger or Kazejin. This should be quite obvious, but all of these two fused forms of Gate Guardian are all based on when Gate Guardian was attacked, you can destroy one of the pieces, and this is the result. If one of the pieces was destroyed, this would be left over. This one actually did appear in the anime, so this is a real one. But for the rest of them, they're kind of hypotheticals. What if one of the other pieces was destroyed instead? What would we have got? In fact, with Gate Guardian of Thunder and Wind, these two actually have a spell card version of a combo attack that they have. Hopefully the others get it. For this one, it's double attack, wind, and thunder. So I'm hoping for some more double attacks in the future, but for now, if you control Gate Guardian monster, target one card on the field, destroy it. During your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, add one of your Sanger of the Thunder, Kazejin, Suijin that is banished or in your deck to your hand. Next, when Sanger and Suijin are on the field, they meld together into Gate Guardian of Water and Thunder. Must be special summoned from your extra deck by banishing the above cards you control. Once per chain, quick effect, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, change its attack to 0 until the end of this turn. You can only use this effect of Gate Guardian of Water and Thunder twice per turn. You see what we did there? It's as if it's two monsters, so it can use its effect twice. If this face-up special summon card in its owner's control leaves the field because of an opponent's card, you can special summon one of your banished, Suijin or Sanger of the Thunder. When Kazejin and Suijin come together, they meld into Gate Guardian of Wind and Water. Must be special summoned from the extra deck by banishing the above cards you control. Once per chain, when your opponent activates a spell, trap card, or effect on the field, quick effect, you can negate that effect. You can only use this effect of Gate Guardian of Water and Wind twice per turn. If this face-up special summon card in its owner's control leaves the field because of an opponent's card, you can special summon one of your banished, Kazejin or Suijin. Finally, we have the ultimate fused form, Gate Guardian Combined. Made from Sanger, Kazejin, and Suijin. Must be special summoned from your extra deck by banishing the above cards from your hand, field, and or graveyard. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a card you control, quick effect, you can negate that effect, and if you do, destroy that card. You can only use this effect of Gate Guardian Combined thrice per turn. It's made up of 3 monsters, so it can use this effect 3 times. How awesome is that? If this face-up special summon card in its owner's control leaves the field because of an opponent's card, you can special summon one level 11 or lower Gate Guardian monster from your deck or extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. And if you didn't notice what's cool about this monster, if this card is destroyed, you then summon out one of the level 11 versions, the 2 material ones. So it's just like the anime, where one of the pieces of Gate Guardian was destroyed, so you go down to 2 pieces now. And you can headcanon whichever one gets destroyed and summon whichever one you want to. So it's just kind of cool. I don't know, I quite like it. And we're still not done, because in the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX anime, there was an upgraded version of Gate Guardian. It only appeared when Gate Guardian was destroyed in the graveyard, and for a very special card, you could get this ultimate monster out. What were these 2 cards? Well, the card to summon it was Dark Element. Its effect in the real world is if you have a Gate Guardian monster in your graveyard, pay half your life points, special summon a level 11 or higher Gate Guardian monster from your hand, deck, or extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. You can banish this card from your graveyard, add 1 Sanga, Kazejin, or Suijin that is banished or in your deck to your hand. So, with this card, you can summon out Dark Guardian, which is always treated as a Gate Guardian card. Its effect is it cannot be normal summoned or set. It must be special summoned with Dark Element, or by shuffling 1 Sanga, Kazejin, and Suijin into the deck from among the face-up cards on the field, in your hand, or graveyard, and or face-up in your banish zone. This monster cannot be destroyed by battle. This card, if special summoned through Dark Element, is also unaffected by other monster effects, and your opponent's activated spell effects. Why not immune to trap cards as well? Well, that's because in the anime, Jaden used Hero Barrier to negate an attack from this monster, so they must have looked at that and says, let's keep it anime accurate. A trap card worked against it, so let's just make it so trap cards work against this monster. And with that, that is the Gate Guardian archetype done again. Fun fact, I did this archetype before, then support came out just like a month after I did the video. So I thought I'd leave it a year and then we'd do a big update of it. So now we've got all the new cards in here. They're probably going to announce more support. But if you would like to see me play with the Gate Guardians, they're coming out on Mastodon tomorrow, so you can watch me play with them right here over on Twitch. Or if you'd want to wait for the VODs to come out, you can just watch this version instead. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the video. Catch you all later. Bye, everyone.